Good day everyone. Welcome to Teacher Julie channel. Hello everyone. We have our new lesson in Introduction to the Philosophy of the Human Person, which is all about the human person as an embodied spirit. This will be the first quarter lesson and week 3. This lesson is under the milk paste. The leading subject in the course of Introduction to the Philosophy of the Human Person is the idea that the human person is an embodied spirit. So what do we exactly mean by embodied spirit? So before we proceed to the proper discussion, let's the student answer the following questions. Following terms: the man, the person, and the human nature. The word man, the English term for man, is derived from the Proto-Indo-European. So it is the general term commonly used to refer to the entire human race or other related terms such as humanity, mankind, and humankind. And the term human, it refers to a man as a species, such as the Homo sapiens or the modern human beings. The term human being is also used to differentiate man from other animals. On the other hand, the word person, it is the personality of a human being, so-called the self. It refers to a human being granted recognition of certain rights, protection, responsibilities, and dignity above all. So philosophers refers to the human person as the totality of an individual possessing awareness, self-determination, and capacity to interact with others and with himself or herself. A personhood, it refers to the state of being a person. The word human nature, it defines as a nature of humans, especially the fundamental characters and traits of humans. It refers to the characteristics that distinguish humans from all other creatures. These traits are expected to arise independent of the influence of culture and society. Examples: thinking, feeling, and the acting. So what is the human person? A person has awareness of her or his self, has self-determination, and it is able to reach out and interact with others, and also it has dignity. So self-awareness, it refers to the person having a clear perception of oneself, including his thoughts, emotion, and identity and action. So try saying this: I am a person, I am alive, I exist, I am here, I am present, and I am living at very this moment. Self-determination, it refers to the capability of persons to make choices and decisions based on their own preferences, monitor and regulate their actions, and be goal-oriented and self-directed. While consequences, it is the result or effect of an action or condition, then philosophers believe that a person acts freely and with due regard for consequences of his actions. Externality, it refers to the capability of a person to reach out and interact with others and the world, whereas the word dignity, it refers to the innate right to be valued and respected. Philosophers consider all humans as having an inherent worth of value. The word "you're worthless" is an insult since it attacks the very notion of a person having the value or worth. The following are the limitations of the human persons. So, human persons are naturally deficient beings. This means that we are not prepared with the best physical aspects among all the beings. For example, human persons do not have the natural ability to fly. Another limitation of a human person is that human persons cannot breathe underwater without the aid of breathing device. The following are the limitations that can lead to possibilities. So, transcendence is the ability to change, be dynamic, and continually redefining oneself, which works with one facticity to create change. So, according to Bill Gates, if you were born poor, it is not your mistake, but if you die poor, it's your mistake. How do limitations lead to transcendence? So, facticity, it refers to the things in our life that are already given. So, for example, is our life. So, we are free to define who we are and who we are to be. A spatial temporal being, so as temporal beings, our most obvious limitation is our finitude, our finite quality or the state. For example, walang forever pero meron talaga. So spatial beings, we were limited by our bodies to be present in two or more places at the same time. We are limited by the space or the spatial and the time, which is the temporal. So our spatial temporal situation sets our preconditions of understanding. So why do we want to be in a hurry to achieve or have something which is not yet? And why do we hold on the lament on something which is no longer? So it is the people that closest to us that we most often neglect. The body as intermediary. So intermediary, it means that acting as a mediator. So having a body may prevent us from revealing what we really want to express. So how do we communicate with each other? So of course, we are using our words. But can words really capture the things we want to express? But this limitation can also be an advantage. In most cases, words are not enough.